This is a new topic for me. Those of you who know me, it's a very new topic for me. You've probably seen that the evolution that I've gone through in the whole year. I've obviously always talk about stress and depression and anxiety. That's my main thing on my therapy, wearing my therapy hat. But I also have a coaching hat where I talk about lots of other things. And especially working with business owners, there's a lot around the stress of being a business owner is real. So I call it the walking wounded. We're not quite like collapsed or anything else, and we need other types of support. So the coaching is where I bring that into play as well. So for those of you who know me, my name's Joy Langley. I've been in the therapy and coaching space for quite some time, and I've had lots of evolutions of the business and also my ideas. So today's topic, three myths about being tired, wired, and also wasting time, are part of my own experience. I've been through that too. The only thing is that I now know how to solve it, which is why I talk about that. This morning, I decided that I've done some preparation, which is great. I've spoken to some coaches about how I was going to prepare today. And then on the morning, what happens to me is I throw it all out the window. Now, that might happen to you. It might sound like a crazy thing to do, but really, today is about me sitting in that space of not being tired and not being wired, my nervous system shot, and also not feeling that I was wasting a lot of time in over preparing. I am an over preparer. So today, no slides, but I do have my notes. So ignore me if I every now and then look at my notes because that's going to help me to stay on track. Now, I don't know where you stand with this whole topic on a personal level, but these are my own brainchild. This is my own thoughts, my own feelings, and also my own practices. I started using a practice called TLC, Tender Loving Care, about a year ago. This was my way of being kind to myself and showing some self-compassion because I've been through various degrees of burnout over the years. We don't quite call it burnout because I didn't quite collapse, but I certainly hit a wall and felt tired and definitely felt wired and certainly felt like I was wasting my time. So this whole topic is very timely for me. It's come back round full circle. And the thing that I've now layered on top of this, is it an issue being tired if you're in business or you're working for a corporate? Is it a bad thing being wired, a little bit frazzled around the edges? Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? And finally, is it okay to sometimes feel like you're just wasting your time or wasting time? Now, the answer might be yes, sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. But for me, I found it was changing the way that I felt as a human being. And I came back to looking at my energy. I thought, what role does my energy play in all of this? So today's session is going to be looking at these myths, whether you should continue to have them as ideas or whether you should start reviewing whether they're good things to have or not to have. Also, remember that I'm looking at it through my lens, which is from that therapy perspective, also from a coaching perspective, and then from the point of view of just being a human being, because I am a human being too. These things affect me. Now, let's look at the first myth that I want to talk about. We chase higher productivity. Let's look at them one by one. Chasing higher productivity. Now, is that something that we are doing and it's fueling this feeling of being tired, of being wired, and also of wasting time? Is it? Just think about it. You've got more and more productivity tools that you can try. There's so many productivity apps out there, and it leaves you thinking, I wish I was more productive. So just think about that. Is that a good thing to have or not? Is it fueling the myth? The myths have to be busted here. Now, the second one, let's look at this idea of I just need more time. If it's not about being more productive, perhaps I need better time management. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Time management. So another app, another way of just having more time. Is it possible though? Because we only have 24 hours in a day and the last time I checked, is the same 24 hours that you have that I have. So what's going wrong here? How are we going to create more time? That's an impossible situation. And the third myth that I looked at is that AI, I've got to bring AI into the picture, is going to save our lives. It's going to make us more productive and it's going to give us more time. Now, that's an interesting one for me because AI, as much as I love it, there's absolutely no going back. We've entered a new era and I use it quite a lot too. Is this going to save my life and make me a better business owner, make me more efficient when I'm around my family? It's a question which I've been asking myself. So that's why the title of today was The Three Myths. And you're going to have to judge whether they're myths or whether you still believe them. But I need to be more productive. I need more time. And AI is going to save my life. Okay, now a little bit of interaction might be useful. I can then check the chat box. Any yeses or nos on those ideas that productivity might be yes, I agree with you, or you might say yes, more time, or you might put in there AI. I'm just curious to see what you're thinking, whether I've anything, landed on anything very useful there. No one's like leaving any messages right now, so I'm going to just assume you're thinking about it. I can hear someone. Who was that? Penny, nice to hear from you. How
It
you
was to
doing?
type or to speak our response.
You can type it or you can tell me now you're here.
Yeah,
Why
I
not?
don't use productivity apps. I never have, don't find them useful. They probably confuse me more. There's ones that rearrange your whole week, your whole diary. I don't know. Leave me alone.
Yes. I don't know if I'm beyond being organized. I'm wondering about that. And Stephanie said, my constant mantra is, there is no time, there is no space. I don't believe time can be wasted. You might have to come on camera and just explain that to me because I'm beyond actually reading it.
I know we live in a 3D world. I know we have rules and structure, and all of those things help guide us and give us a way to have form in our lives. But then they're so limiting. And they're so like, when I say there is no time, there is no space, we create that ourselves. We decide what that is. This is a true story. I didn't learn how to tell time on a regular round clock until I was in my 20s because of a neurodivergency. So for me, there was no time. There was it didn't exist for me in that way. I
You
just
really are.
live in a
Yeah,
different. I showed up for your meeting on time. It's not that I don't believe in the
but your
qualification of time.
biological
A minute can take an hour. If you've ever been in a traumatic moment, it lasts forever.
feels like forever.
And sometimes joy is so fleeting. Oh my God, even if it
Absolutely.
lasted a long time.
Thank you for that perspective as well, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. And some others in the comments from Tracy. I think you have as much time as you think you have. If you think you have none, then that manifests. And if you think that you do have it, then you make it happen. So I agree with that. And Clifford's added this point as well, which is yes, no, and maybe. Oh, Clifford, that's so not helpful for me right now, but thank you for that. Yes, no, and maybe. So these myths, we've looked at productivity, more time, and AI is going to save our life. Now, the problem is staying in that space and staying with those ideas. And I'm going to admit, I have had those thoughts. You're not the only ones that have thought that. But really, this whole aspect of it keeps us stuck in a loop. I know it's called spinning your wheels, but just being stuck. And it leads to an awful lot of frustration, inner frustration, boiling frustration. So that's been happening to me. I did have another episode of burnout last year, October, and I did bring in some new practices to try and stop that from happening. I mentioned something that I use, a tool and a practice which I used, which is called TLC, tender love and care and compassion, because I didn't realize I was being so horrible to myself. So that's definitely been helping me this year. And the other layer that's come on top of that, I've been thinking there must be more to it than just that. The kindness is absolutely essential. But I felt myself going through dips of energy throughout the year. And I thought, okay, this is an energy thing too. It's not just about the TLC, which is lovely to be part of my practice, but what is it about energy that's happening to me? Now, energy is invisible, okay, which makes it really difficult for us to understand it. And it's something we take for granted. But I can assure you it's like oxygen, and we all know what it feels like to not have oxygen. we won't be around for very long. Energy is invisible and we have to make it visible. And I decided to make it visible by creating another framework, which I call your energy signature. Now, when I actually came up with that Y.E.S, I realized it's a really nice word. I love the word yes. It's a beautiful word. Got a lot of energy around it. So your energy signature is something that I want you to start noticing from this point onwards. If these things, more productivity, more time management, and AI are not going to save your life, what is? I've come back to feeling that we have to take responsibility for what's happening to ourselves. No one's going to rescue us. And it's a phrase which actually scares the life out of me. No one's going to rescue me. Who's going to look after me? So self care comes into this, and self responsibility becomes part of the picture. I was looking back at human beings and how quickly we get into a space where we get frustrated and stressed. And it made me remember that we've been through this tumultuous time of change a couple of years ago. And I don't know how I've forgotten about COVID. Perhaps I shoved it to the back of my mind. But that was a time of immense change and immense uncertainty, a bit like AI is creating for us now. Now, I'm not going to paint AI as the villain because I actually love AI, but it's also creating an issue around stress for us. You can't tell what's real and you can't tell what's fake. I thought I had a handle on it until they started cloning faces and cloning voices. And for me, then my anxiety levels just went through the roof. And it's creating an atmosphere of not only mistrust for the world, but it's creating a sense of some kind of negative energy inside of me. I'm just living in this space where I've got a lot of negativity around me, and I try to burst that bubble every now and then. Stuff comes into our world. So when I say take responsibility for ourselves, I'm trying to encourage you and I'm trying to encourage me to take back our personal power and take back our control. That's the only way you're going to, in a way, ignore some of the anxiety provoking things that are in the world, the stresses that are in the world. AI is not about to go back into the box. You can't close Pandora's box. So we have to learn how can we work with it. But I do know that it's impacting my energy and it's impacting other people's energy. And you only have to read about companies worrying about whether they should take on AI, whether they shouldn't take on AI. Everybody worrying about whether they're going to be made redundant by AI. Is our brain going to stop working? Lots of little things that I think about throughout a day, which are quite stressful things. So bringing your energy back to a level that I would say your energy signature is your natural resting state, energetic state. And it's different for everybody. There's quite a few people in the room today. It's different for all of us. So, what I've been doing is tracking my own energy throughout the week. I've done it now for about 5 weeks, and it's really interesting to see that my energy goes up and down. My moods also go up and down. Sometimes there's positivity in that mood and in that energy, even when it's low, and vice versa. The tracker that I've done is very simple. I probably just pull it up and show it to you because I haven't got any PowerPoint slides today. But let's get this. This is mine today. So I've just got very simple columns there. Two columns, one for mood, one for my energy. And this morning I woke up really early. I was up at 6:45, which is unusual for me. But when I'm doing a webinar, I get energized. Now, that might be energized by adrenaline, which is part of our stress response, but I channel my adrenaline in a positive way. This morning, I woke up and I spent 45 minutes being in flow. I look at my language a lot because I could say I spent 45 minutes being busy. But I would encourage you to think about the way in which we use the word busy. Does that make you feel good or bad? I know it's become part of our conversation, just feeling busy. And even I would say with a smile, oh, I'm just being busy. But I'm looking at what impact is that having on you saying it? And can you say other things? So perhaps saying, I'm in flow. That might be something you could say. It might also be saying that I'm immersed in something at the moment, or I'm engaged in this at the moment, or I'm occupied by this at the moment. I want you to choose your language. And I've got some nice comments coming up here too. Jackie said, I never thought of any of those myths as being facts. She never really went for any of those myths anyway. She has the time. She knows that she has the time. She believes that you are just where you are meant to be. Maybe some of the energy is also using or overusing your strengths. So thank you for that, Jackie. Tracy said that AI is an amplifier. Tracy, could you just open up your mic and tell me what you've written?
Yeah, honestly, it was hard for me to phrase it in like my writing because I feel like I say it so often. But if we bring a belief to our use of AI that it knows better than us, AI will amplify that belief into we don't have the answer, and now I have a tool that can teach me answers so it can amplify that belief. Equally, we can bring an authenticity frame. I'm an expert in this. I'm using AI as like an assistant to help me explore my thoughts. So we can use AI to amplify expertise as well, which I think then can amplify our energy. So if we're looking at AI as an amplifier, the more important thing to look at is that input. What am I bringing to it? Because that's going to amplify it and that's going to have an impact on my energy.
Thank you so much for that clarification. So, your own personal energy is going to be something which is going to influence whether you are feeling tired, wired, or feeling like you're wasting time. And thank you so much for putting all your comments in there. Great. I've got Dr. Ash saying she loves how I've reframed being busy into I'm being engaged, or I'm putting my energy into this, or I'm feeling that I'm doing something with purpose and intention. Thank you so much, Dr. Ash. Great comments there. So, let's just, as we said, think about the language that we're using, whether that's affecting our energetic state, also whether we do have what I call an energy signature. You might think, what the hell is Joy talking about? An energy signature. We got our own uniqueness. We've got a fingerprint, which is quite unique. I think we've got our own energy signature. We just have to work out what that is and play to it. Mine might be higher or lower than yours if we want to put levels on it, but does that really matter? In the grand scheme of things, whatever you're doing today, you have to work out how you are letting that energy flow out of you. I could say spending that energy, which makes us think about currency, it makes it into a currency, but how you are using your energy to deliver your best work. And that's as far as it goes. So the energy tracker is there for you to download. I've probably sent it to quite a few of you, but if you're listening to the replay and you haven't got this, please do remember to go to my profile and download that or connect with me so that I can give that to you. I may try and drop it in the comments if I get clever, but either way, come back to me and I can get that to you. The jury, I don't know, perhaps we can just take a vote on whether the idea of having an energy signature sounds like a good idea, yes or no. Or perhaps you can just put your thumbs up or thumbs down, I don't mind, whichever way you do it. Perhaps a Y if you think I'm onto something. No, if you think I'm not, I won't be offended. Just so I can get a sense of where you all stand.
I have an out loud comment.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
I think it's really powerful because I think it helps for us to understand our energetic patterns and to notice the things that are amplifying our energy or the things that are draining us, and also just our own natural cycles. Because sometimes we're so conditioned to push through or to ignore our own energy patterns, even when we can sense and feel it. And sometimes we have to, that's fine, but resilience is conditioned into us. So I love the idea of knowing your signature because I think the more self-aware you can be in those ways, energy is a resource. It's valuable. You can be much more intentional with it. Beautiful. I
Thank
love
you.
it, Joy.
Thank you. I will keep pursuing that then. I do believe it to be true. Like I said, being in the therapy space, I've become sensitive in all kinds of ways. And I've just not been taught really to think about it as energy, even though I know that when I work with people, it must involve energy. And I do believe there's a transfer of energy going on between human beings. Because it's invisible, we just don't label it that way. But today really was meant to be just half an hour of me exploring this a little bit further with friends and colleagues that I know very well to see where you stand with it so I can keep building it out and keep developing it. And also encouraging you to try the tracker, not because I want you to join my mailing list, which is nice, but so I can get some feedback from you. Because I want to modify it and I want to look at it in wider ways. The way in which the tracker works is that, again, you're just monitoring your mood, you're monitoring your energy, and you're seeing the variations in those because they're connected. And if you use it for long enough, I would say more than 3 days if you can, which is like not a lot, but a week if you can, will give you more data to begin to spot your own patterns. And I spotted my own patterns as well. I get quite tired at 3:30 in the afternoon. And at the moment, it seems to be stretching on for an hour. I'm like an hour out of my life. What's going on here? But I have been paying attention to it and I've been taking that hour and coming back to my work and I'm more productive. This word productive and productivity is not a dirty word. I want to do the best that I can with the energy that I have. But knowing what those times of the day are is useful. I know you probably read it. There's so much information out there about how to improve your productivity, how to get more time. We know it. I've read it. I've seen it. But that doesn't seem to help me. This has been helping me. And it's also been keeping me in a really fresh, happy space, which is a good thing, which is a good thing. So try it and let me know. Let me know how it goes. And also improvements. How about doing this? How about trying this? I'm not brilliant on Canva, but I can give it to someone who is, and they can improve that for me. So there are actually 3 sheets there, which has a summary sheet, but that confuses people. And the feedback so far has been that it's useful. And this thing about mindfulness, again, another word we talk about, just be mindful. It's like, how do you do it? If you have data coming back to you on how you're being, you have enough information to work out how to change. And then it's your choice about changing. Can you see how many times I've changed my script from being prepared, not being an over organizer this time, to changing it this morning? And Tracy might bear witness to that, that it's changed. Changing it this morning, but also now changing it while it's actually live. I'm feeling really proud of myself for doing that. First of all, for not using slides. I use an awful lot, but also for just staying within my own, as Tracy would say, she's one of my coaches, be quite honest, in my own authenticity. Like, how do we be authentically ourselves? How do we be more of ourselves? Beyond me having the confidence to come on here and do this, because I've done it a few times, being in that space where whatever comes out of this session is meant to be the right thing, which I think Dr. Ash might have said, we are where we're meant to be. So I'm going to open the room up for questions. If you have to go because it's half an hour, please do. But remember to get that PDF tracker. I'll put it, it's in the comments, I think, if you go back to my page or just contact me. I'm happy to connect with you. So I'll open it up for any questions. I am an open book right this moment.
I suppose my energy levels change. They change day by day, to be fair. And something normally I am a night person, but so I suddenly find myself having to do days because I'm away from home for a few weeks. And literally, I'm doing days, yes, and of course I have this, the afternoon nap. I love my nap, but I find myself more tired. It's rather strange. I can't work as long, maybe because I haven't got my setup, I haven't got my usual comfy chair and whatever else, and the perks of life.
So
And
you found yourself you just lost, your energy levels have gone down.
they've gone down, but I'm still doing. So I think it's finding
Energy.
the willingness to do. Yeah, just you
The
call extra
energy.
energy. Yeah.
So, what you've described there, you're in a different environment, okay? You've mentioned all the things you normally have around you. You might not realize that you have experienced a slight loss. When I use the word TLC, I also look at transitions, losses, and changes. You might not realize that perhaps that has had an impact on your energy. The transition to a different place, the loss, you're away from your family, that's a minor loss, I hope. And then lots of change, transitions, losses, and changes. I believe that, again, we don't take seriously the impact of these tiny things in our lives. But you've noticed that it's affected you. And I know you, Annie. I do know that you're a very out there, energetic person. So to hear you say that, I would encourage you to work out, what is it? What is that change? Is it permanent? Is it temporary? And whether you use my tracker to keep a note of that or you just do it yourself. Some people might prefer to get an app. I don't mind how you achieve it, but get some data so that you can at least begin to understand how you operate. So that if this happens to you again, you go somewhere new and again you feel your energy drop, you'll think, this is normal for me because I'm a bit like a fish out of water. So something's changed within me. That could
No.
be it, Annie.
Here's the question to you and to all.
Go for it.
Because I'm telling myself that the impending mental deadline I've given myself, I try and avoid all the productivity by having certain timescales to mind. So I do what I do, I know what I have to do, and as long as it takes, I'll do it. That's what I look at life, right? But I've given myself a mental deadline to get this book published. This is my major thing at the moment. Meanwhile, everything else is on the back burner. I'm not doing anything else. When this is done, I can get back to my normal tasks.
Okay.
So is having that impending deadline a good thing, or is that akin to the planners and other tools that you mentioned at the beginning?
I think that everything has a beginning and an end. So I'm going to just say it's a circle. It does have a beginning and it does have an end, Annie. So, that's a good thing for you to have. I find personally I'm going to say like the more time that I have, the less I seem to do. I call it having a piece of bubble gum and I stretch it out. So if I've got an hour to do something, a day to do something, a week to do something, guess when I get that done? Towards the end of the week. So I've been noticing that's something which I do. It doesn't motivate me, it demotivates me. So we're looking at your energy changes because you're being more motivated or less motivated. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? Because you're just saying, I don't need to pour all my energy into this 1 hour. It's going to exhaust me. I'll just spread it out throughout the week. It's over here. That might be a very sensible thing to do, Annie. So you giving yourself a deadline is a good thing in my head. Oh, Stephanie, go for it.
I just wanted to say back on the words that we use that when I'm working on a project I'm really passionate about, I don't give it a deadline, I give it a lifeline. And I work towards bringing it to life. I find deadlines are very draining and depleting and depressing in most cases, unless I am like a surgeon or I don't know, somewhere where something's actually going to be truly dead. But I do believe in goals. I do believe in goals and I do believe in flexible planning. And I believe it's okay to have a target and then to be in that space of looking at your targets and going, is it ready to come to life yet? Has it been nourished? Does it have everything it needs? So that's just my frame, especially when I wrote a book, I published a book, I totally understand. I'm working on my second one, and it's one of those things that you really have to have that internal motivation. And sometimes it's not there. But that's when there's no wasted time because I find when it's not there, I'm actually processing in the background, whether I know it or not. It's just happening. I'm processing. And then one day, phew, energy, boom, I'm writing and it's all coming out. So this is how I think of it.
Fabulous. And it's all hidden then, isn't it? Because you're quite right about writing a book. There's the processing time, and it's about, even from a creative perspective, trying to design something, trying to just create something. There's that process before the process. It's a strange thing. You're sitting in that space where you are actually thinking about it. So you might as well chill. You might as well relax. And I do get really good ideas, even about today's outline, which I've completely thrown out the water, but I vaguely know what it was. That was through just daydreaming a little bit last night. And this morning I woke up and I thought, oh, yeah, I know exactly what I could say. I know exactly what I want to say. And this was another question which a coach said to me. She said, Joy, why don't you think about what you truly want to say today? What a challenge. What a challenge. So I know what I could say. I know what I'd like to say. And I've written pages of what I could say. They're staring at me. But what did I say when I came on camera? Now, let's say I'm living in the now. Again, another phrase, living in the now. What does that mean? I'm living in this moment. Right now, I'm responding to Stephanie. I made Stephanie co-host. Ennie's just said what he said, thrown something back at him. Could I answer it? Did I know I could answer it? I don't know. I tried. And you have to believe somewhere in you that you just know the answers. I call myself an expert, but I'm not an expert at everything. I can't cook. I'm rubbish at cooking, really. So some things I'm good at, some things I'm not. And I love the fact that I'm being a different person in this particular space in the way that I'm delivering this particular talk and information. I'm feeling really quite happy in myself. I hope that comes across, but I'm feeling very happy within myself because this is a change for me. And I think that means that the energy signature work I've been doing, the TLC work, tender love and care work I've been doing, and also using another system, which is thoughts, emotions, and actions, monitoring those. This framework that I've created has all come together. And I don't quite know how, but three things have come together. I work in threes, and three things have come together. I'm thinking like, okay, there's some magic in there. I believe in the magic of life, but I don't think you want to hear it right now. So, do you have any more questions, anyone? I can see that there are still more people in the room. So, if anyone wants to unmute themselves and speak or raise their hands, more than happy to listen to you. Denise, you always have something to say.
I just wanted to be authentically quiet.
Authentically quiet. I love it.
I'm fine. I think the conversations that have been had today are quite inspiring because it's interesting how Annie was talking about having a deadline, and then Stephanie was saying it's more of a lifeline. It is, it's the heartbeat. If you truly believe in your writing, it is great having a deadline, but you could potentially be putting more pressure on yourself to be able to keep meeting that deadline. Whereas if it's a lifeline, you will know when the time is right to be able to move to that next stage and be able to take it where it needs to go. Because I'm currently writing a book. So we've got this thread going across all of us here. It just makes it very real and makes it quite empowering to be able to listen to your gut instinct and know what fulfills you, what brings you the energy, what pulls you down. I know once I put a deadline on things, I start not escalating, but feeling that I can't achieve what I set out to do. And that's not good for me. When I'm being authentic, I've got to be true to what my lifeline is saying. All of these conversations, they're all interwoven and everything affects our energy. Everything triggers us in some way or another, whether that's positive or negative. And it's the way we then manage those situations in the best way that we know how.
Great information there too. And like I said, I want to explore energy. I want you to explore energy. If you explore it and you decide that Joy's just talking a load of rubbish, I'm not going to be offended. I'm just going to keep continuing doing what I'm doing. But you find your way of managing what's happening for you. Look at how your patterns change. Look at the places you are, the people that you're around, the tasks that you're doing, and have some kind of baseline that you can go back to. Because life is going to happen to you. I think that's guaranteed. If you understand that I can go back to this baseline of energy and I know it's been disturbed, then you're in a better place than most people. Because if we're looking at where it goes to, this whole thing with not knowing how much we're pushing our energy beyond and above where it needs to be, if we're looking at burnout, human beings shouldn't really be suffering burnout, should they? What does it mean? To me, it means I'm ignoring every physical signal in my body, every mental signal in my body, every emotional signal that's saying, stop. It's like being in your car and just going through red traffic lights. Do we do that in real life? Not with cars, thank God. But perhaps we're going through some red traffic lights, which are actually our body's way of saying, this needs to stop. So energy is important. Without it, we're nothing. Remember, it feels invisible, but it is being made visible by some of the symptoms and some of the things that we're doing. And remember, if it's like oxygen, if it's like breathing, then we don't realize that the air is there and we're just taking it for granted, in, out, in, out. I think we come to a conclusion that it's very important. If when you have taken your last breath out, there isn't an in, kind of scares the life out of me. A little bit of a horror story. Why not? This is the way I'm going to get the stories to stick in your head. But they also scare me, so we're in good company. But I'm over time, guys. I've gone way over time. I'm going to come back and do another run of this in 2 weeks' time. Who knows how it's going to evolve? I haven't got a clue. But it can only get better. And I just appreciate everyone that's spoken today, everyone that's left a comment. If you are watching this on the replay, leave your comments by all means. Let's have a conversation around energy. Does anyone care about it? Bless you all.
It's a joy to see. But to see you sound so happy as well, Joy. It's freeing, right?
It's liberating, definitely.
Joy, I also wanted to tell you earlier when you mentioned that your coach or your friend suggested that you just speak what you wanted to say. You said, "Oh my, what a challenge." But I immediately thought, "Oh my God, what a gift." Like, she just gave you so much permission to just be. And then you did.
I appreciate that feedback. Just have fun with this whole idea, but also bear in mind that beyond the fun, this is to eliminate the fact that we are wearing ourselves out. The tiredness is real. We're also getting our nervous system really frazzled. We're in our stress response far too often for far too long. Our body doesn't have a chance to relax and had a bit of technology laid on top of our lives that says it's going to be our savior. It's not going to be our savior. It's probably going to make that worse, that energy stuff worse, not better. Because I know how I use it. I'm an overachieving person. I do exactly the same with AI. I produce something and I move on to another thread and another thread. I am doing exactly what I've always done. So I'm having to learn about my energy and I'm going to have to train myself to use AI in a way that's responsible and helps me. Doesn't stress me out, but it helps me. And so I'm in the process of retraining myself too. But thank you all for your input. And I will be doing another one 2 weeks' time. And I'll keep doing them every 2 weeks until you get fed up with me, basically. Simple as that. Yeah, I'm going to disappear now.